Forte episode volume 7. We have a jam-packed episode for you today, and we're going to give you livelihood, personal, and band updates, as well as a very practical lesson that we probably should have given you on April 14th.
So as for personal updates, my tutoring has started to decline a little bit, but I'm going to get bumped up to full-time at UT doing that research position that I told you guys about last post. And where Blake and I also started producing a girl named Jessie, who's a phenomenal singer. She sang in a cover band that we played for. We asked her, we knew she had some original stuff. We asked if she needed producing help. She said, yep. So we're going to hopefully get in the studio to do a 5 or 6 song EP sometime in the next couple months.
Yes. On my end, I have started to join a new cover band, which I'll play with on May 7th and forward, which I found through Craigslist. Also, that movie that I told you about 2 months ago, we just got the final cut, so we'll actually start tracking now. And one of my piano students is doing an R&B album. She has given us the opportunity to mix that, so Ben and I will start doing that in the next couple weeks as well. Very exciting.
So as for band update, we found a singer. His name's OJ. He's great. We like his voice. He writes well, but we unfortunately had to let go of our bassist. We sort of felt that he just wasn't all that into the music, and he wasn't really playing the way we wanted our bassist to play. And this is something that you shouldn't feel uncomfortable about doing. If somebody's not who you want, you kind of have to tell them what they don't want to hear sometimes and let them know.
It's all about the music. All right, about a month ago here in Austin with the South by Southwest Music Conference, one of the biggest in the country. If you're a musician, you gotta go. There's over 1,900 bands come through. They're all usually on the up and coming side, and so you're bound to see a lot of great shows. There's a lot of great workshops and seminars. It's a networking heaven. You can meet a ton of people. So definitely think about going if you're a musician.
So now as for our lesson. The reason we should have told you about it on April 14th is because we're going to talk a little bit about taxes.
Right on. So why even tell the government you have taxes? You're a musician. Most of the money's from cash. They're not going to know. Well, they might know. And if they do know, your life will be terrible. I indirectly know some musicians who have been audited. It can happen. They specifically do this to make an example of people who don't make much money so that they know they have to still pay their taxes. If they come through, they will ruin your life and will make you pay fines, and they will not be afraid of taking anything that is precious to you.
Like cocoa.
Like a cocoa lamp. All right? So really, you got to keep all your receipts. You should probably err on the side of being on the radar and just using all the deductions available to you, like your rent. I teach lessons out of my house. You can deduct that. Like a meal that you have at a show. I went to IHOP last night after playing a gig in San Antonio, and I can deduct that. You can also deduct your car. You get 50 cents a mile for owning the car if that's part of business travel.
Another really good reason to deduct or to report a lot of income and use deductions is you get what's called your adjusted gross income. So your adjusted gross income, or AGI, is the number basically that anybody will look at if they want to give you a loan. So if this number is really small, you're not going to get a loan. So if you need to buy, say, a car or an expensive piece of musical gear or whatever it may be, you're only going to be able to get that if you actually have a relatively high AGI, and that can really only happen if you report most of your income.
Yes, and I knew a musician who couldn't get a car loan because his AGI was artificially low because he didn't report enough. Also, there's this thing called the self-employment tax that is separate from the income tax. It's 15% of your income on everything up to $100,000. However, you can deduct half of this from your income tax.
And then the last little tidbit about taxes is the question of whether you should pay as you go, which is paying quarterly, or pay all on April 15th on tax day. Basically, you should definitely pay as you go, because this way there's sort of smaller chunks that you have to pay. Last thing you want is to be stuck on April 15th with $1,500 in your bank account and you owe $1,200 to Uncle Sam. The life would suck after that.
Right on. So that's our lesson. I hope you had a really enjoyable experience, and we'll see you next month on Real Jobs Aren't My Forte. And if they're not, keep watching.